Hello and welcome to another episode from Kansas. Today we are going to discuss why the Democrats are charging fast to the second impeachment trial, knowing fully well that they don't have the votes in the Senate. Do they have a secret plan? What are they not telling us? The House of Representatives, the Congress, has already impeached President Trump, and Trump is not the president anymore, which means there really is no pressing need to get him impeached in the Senate. The Democrats could have sat on the article of impeachment as long as they had wanted. The Speaker of the House has the right to do so, and it is Nancy Pelosi. But instead of waiting and giving the newly formed Senate space to work on Biden's nominations and more pressing items such as the COVID relief bill, the Democrats are charging like a bull to pass the article of impeachment to the Senate and trigger the trial. The House is expected to send the article of impeachment to the Senate today. Do they have the votes in the Senate to get it done? The Democrats need 17 Republican senators to side with them to convict Trump. As of now, there are only 2 or maybe 3 confirmed votes: Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, and maybe Lisa Murkowski. So there is 0% chance that they have access to the 17 votes they need. So why the hurry when there really is no reason to hurry? Are we missing something here? The GOP would love to dismiss this trial, but sadly, they don't have the access to the delete button, as the Democrats now control the Senate. So the trial is on. After a really long time, possibly a very, very long time, the Democrats are sitting on top of an enviable position. There are situations in politics where there can only be one winner. This is one such situation, and only the Democrats can win. If the Senate votes to convict Trump, the Democrats can say, and they will say, that justice was done to the perpetrators of the crime that unfolded on January 6th. If the Republicans acquit Trump, and if they have to do that, they will be fiercely defending Trump and his actions in front of the entire world. How ugly that acquittal will look like after Senate Majority Leader went on the Senate floor and accused the president of inciting the mob.
The last time the Senate convened, we had just reclaimed the Capitol from violent criminals who tried to stop Congress from doing our duty. The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
While Kevin McCarthy on the floor of the Congress said the president has to accept some blame for what happened on January 6th. Nothing will make the GOP look more like a bunch of hypocrites than making them defend Trump's actions on national television. Nearly 6 out of 10 Americans say that they blame President Trump for the violent insurrection that took place at the US Capitol by the mob. But neither the Democrats nor the Republicans will be worried about what Americans are thinking about today. They are politicians and their life depends on our ability to forget. So they will care 2 hoots about what the public opinion is as of today, but they will be extremely worried about their ability to swing opinions before the midterms in 2022. Joe Biden won only 51.3 or 51.4% of the national popular vote. Trump was around 47%, 46.9 I believe. That means Biden had the support of slightly more than 5 out of 10 Americans, and even within that group, we know for sure there were plenty of Republican votes. But nearly 6 out of 10 Americans say that President Trump is the one to be blamed. That's a lot of Republican voters who have made up their mind that Trump is the reason and the source of the January 6th events. The Democrats will hammer this point over and over on top of the election fraud theory, asking their GOP opponents in debate after debate what they think of the 2020 election, who won the election, and who was responsible for the 5 deaths that happened on January 6th. The death of the police officer and the number of men and women in uniform who got injured during the riots will completely puncture the narrative that the GOP cares about the uniform. A powerful voting bloc that has preferred the GOP more than the Democrats for years. Then the vote to acquit and refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election and the defense of Trump's actions on national television will certainly turn swaths of Republican voters against voting for the party in the midterms. It won't be a lot of Republicans, but there will be a pretty decent number of them. Heck, it will blow a big hole into any GOP senator's plan if he runs for the White House in 2024. They will get locked within the far right of the GOP's base. The vote to acquit Trump will guarantee Republican candidates the entire mass of Trump supporters, which lies somewhere between the 30th to 35th percentile range across the country. But that won't be enough to carry them home in several states. The 35% base size was not enough for them to win Georgia and Arizona anymore. So you vote to acquit Trump, get all the Trump supporters who are going to vote for the GOP candidate anyway, and you are guaranteed to lose independents and moderates from your own party and from the opposite side. So which direction do you think new voters who will be added to the voter rolls between now and then will vote? After they watch the ad that begin with the speech Trump and Giuliani gave before the insurrection, followed by the videos of the insurrection, and finishing it with the fierce defense of Trump's actions by the GOP. A narrator with deep voice will come out and ask, is this the America you want for your child? How do you think independents are going to respond? If done right, that one ad and couple of talking points will be more than enough for the Democrats to win the midterms and the White House again in 2024. And the landslide is not completely out of picture either. The only hope for the Republicans who vote to acquit will be to see the turnout drop as low as possible so that they can win with the support of the hardcore Trump base. To win with just the base, the GOP will need the turnout in 2024 to drop in the order of 10 to 20 million votes or more. And it is not going to happen because up is the only direction the turnout has gone in the last 20 years. Not just the Democrats, even voters, celebrities, activists, and outside groups are now well aware of voter suppression tactics. Some tactics still win, but thanks to all the participants, every move to suppress votes is now being met with disproportionate force from the opposite side. What happened in Texas was a great example. The governor did whatever he could to play around with mail-in voting. One ballot box per county, you must have a reason to vote by mail, and the Texas GOP also filed a suit to stop drive-through voting, as if people were all supposed to only walk and not drive to vote. But all those actions were publicized, not only in Texas, but all over the country. And as channel after channel kept arguing why these things are being done, it wasn't that hard for people to fill up the gaps between the sentences and figure out the motivation. And the answer from the voters was swift. Texas recorded a record-breaking turnout. From being in the bottom of the turnout chart, Texas in one go in 2020 went to top of the charts. Trump still won, as turnout was good on the GOP side as well. But the point is not about who is turning out. The point is turnout has been on the rise and it keeps going up wherever voter suppression tactics are deployed, and the GOP base is not big enough to carry them home even in most of the battleground states. High turnout, as the 2020 election has shown, is a disaster for the GOP. And who is to say that we won't see more than 160 million people vote in 2022 and break the record that we set this year? As of now, the trend is pointing towards higher turnout in 2022 than lower turnout. Keeping Trump in the picture is actually good for the Democrats to make sure that more people get disgusted and turn out to vote. The Democrats are actually better off if the GOP votes to acquit Trump. And I believe that seems to be the strategy here. The Democrats don't really care about the direction the vote will go in the Senate. They win if Trump is convicted, and they will win even more if Trump is acquitted. So why the hurry then? Why not wait? That's one question for which I don't really have an answer. Maybe the riots are still fresh in our minds. Trump, without his access to his social media accounts, does not have a route to push and sway the opinion of his supporters. No one knows how things could change 6 months from now. And if the Democrats are actually craving for an acquittal, then there is no need for them to work up the votes. So if you're ready to lose the vote, then you're not going to be working overtime to find the votes. If you're not working up the votes, then why bother waiting at all? Get it done and let the reality show begin at the earliest. I think the Democrats are okay with having Trump on the ballot in 2024, and they are okay without him as well. They are confident with both the scenarios. And we can understand where that confidence is coming from. Trump will keep threatening that he will run. It's good for his politics and his money making machine. But by 2024, he will be 78 years old. And even if he contests the 81 million who voted against him, how many of that group will vote for him, especially after what happened on January 6th? Trump says the election was rigged in 2020. Then why would some of his own supporters believe it won't be the case in 2024, and why should they waste their time traveling to the polling station? Will the turnout be depressed as it was in Georgia just recently? In fact, running against Trump in 2024 will be a dream come true for any Democratic candidate. Trump will get the job done for them. He will make sure the Dems get all the money, and he will also make sure that the Democratic base turns out in record numbers. So, whatever the way you see it, there will only be one winner in the Senate trial, and that will be the Democrats. If you haven't noticed, none of the GOP senators are talking about voting for or against Trump. The entire contingent is only talking about the trial as an unnecessary step and waste of time. It looks like the GOP knows what the Democrats are up to, but they can do nothing about it, just like how they barreled through Amy Coney Barrett's nomination after the election had begun. You want to do so much, you so badly want to stop it, but you also know that you can do nothing about it. All you can do is have a plan to live with it. Payback is a bleep. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe.